What's happening, SFL? Welcome to the very first episode of the Twinscrew Post. Today we're going to talk about the SFLm Week 7 wrap-up, the SFLm playoff picture through Week 7, the Season 15 rookie draft update, and the Twinscrew 2-minute drill. So get into your relaxed three-point stances and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Twinscrew Post. Our first segment is the SFLm Week 7 wrap-up. Here we'll report each game and the weekly leaders for each game. So here we go. Starting off with the 2 p.m. game, Albuquerque Adams at the Boise Mud Dogs. Mud Dogs won 13-6. Adams had 202 total yards, 154 passing yards, 48 rushing yards, 11 first downs. They went 5 for 12 on third down and 3 turnovers with a time of possession of 20 minutes and 47 seconds. The Mud Dogs had 186 total yards, 112 passing yards, 74 rushing yards, 10 first downs. They went 5 for 10 on third down, 1 turnover, and a time of possession of 22-48. The leaders for the Adams were quarterback Mike St. Green. He is 20 for 32, 154 yards, and 3 picks. Connor Weston, halfback, 21 carries, 47 yards. He had 7 receptions for 54 yards. Wide receiver Michael Potter had 3 receptions for 41 yards. On defense, the free safety Dayton Rhodes had 11 tackles and 1 assist. Defensive end Mike Baker had 2 tackles, 1 assist, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. Kicker Taco Sicario was 2 for 2 on the field goals. For Boise, quarterback Spencer Gordon was 14 for 24, 112 yards, and 1 interception. Halfback Fox Highwind had 28 carries, 46 yards, and 1 touchdown. Wide receiver Mark Martin, 5 receptions for 38 yards. On defense, Thomas Smith had 9 tackles, 3 assists, and 1 game-winning interception. Linebacker Gary Marks and Digger Graves both had 5 tackles, 1 assist, and 1 tackles for loss each, and Sammy Steele was 2 for 2 on field goals. The 4 p.m. game, Annapolis Navigators at San Jose Flight. Navigators won 39-16. The Navigators had 524 total yards, 274 passing yards, 250 rushing yards, 22 first downs. They went 6 for 14 on third down, no turnovers, time of possession 28-59. San Jose had 321 total yards, 256 passing yards, 65 rushing yards, 11 first downs, 3 for 10 on third down, 2 turnovers, and a time of possession of 14:58. The leaders for the Navigators, quarterback Cam Curtis was 25 for 31, 274 yards, no picks, and 4 sacks. Halfback Scott Johnson had 29 carries for 248 yards. He had 1 reception for 4 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Wide receivers C.J. Arthur and tight end Alex Daniel had 8 receptions for 84 yards on 8 targets each. For the defense, free safety Ace Zello had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pick. Linebacker Michael Rochester had 3 tackles, 2 assists, and 1 tackle for loss. Kicker Larry Barr was 6 for 6 on field goals. For the Flight, quarterback Ace Fenich was 21 for 29, 256 yards, 2 picks, and 2 sacks. Halfback Dustin Zeck was 16 carries, 65 yards, 6 receptions for 29 yards. Wide receiver Varadin Zarkov, 2 receptions for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. On the defense, Adam Jones had 10 tackles, 1 assist, and 1 pick. Linebacker Devin King, 6 tackles, 3 assists, 1 tackle for loss. David Seiferts was 1 for 1 on the field goals. The 6 p.m. game was Ottawa Cavalry at Madison Lynx. Lynx won 20-17. Cavalry had 287 yards, 289 passing yards, and -2 rushing yards. 15 first downs, 8 for 13 on third down, 2 turnovers, and a time of possession of 19:58. The Lynx had 274 total yards, 167 passing yards, 107 rushing yards, 17 first downs, 5 for 10 on third down, no picks, and 24:02 for time of possession. The leaders for the Cavalry, Javier Vasquez went 30 for 42, 289 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and 3 sacks. Halfback Kevin Say had 13 carries for -4 yards, 5 receptions for 21 yards. Wide receiver Benjamin Warner had 3 receptions for 15 yards on 3 targets and 1 touchdown. On the defense, Shad Allen, strong safety, had 8 tackles, 3 assists, and 1 pass deflection. Linebacker Brody Gulch had 8 tackles, 3 assists, 1 tackle for loss. Amy Shalizzi was 1 for 1 on the field goals. For the Lynx, Derek Majors was 23 for 29, 167 yards, no picks, no sacks. Halfback Ezekiel Love, 29 carries, 110 yards, 3 receptions for 11 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Wide receiver DJ Hume had 9 receptions for 62 yards on 10 targets. Cornerback Anthony Richardson, 5 tackles, 1 assist. Linebacker Michael Percoco had 3 tackles, 1 assist, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Otis Boudreau was 2 for 2 on the field goals. And the last game of the night at 8 o'clock was the Birmingham Fuel at the Lincoln Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes won 20-6. The Fuel had 272 total yards, 193 passing yards, 79 rushing yards, 15 first downs. They were 4 for 9 on third down. We had 1 turnover and time of possession of 20-44. Rattlesnakes had 357 total yards, 279 passing yards, 78 rushing yards, 16 first downs, 7 for 13 on third down, 2 turnovers, and 23-16 for time of possession. The leaders for the Fuel were quarterback Ben Stone was 20 for 38, 193 yards, 1 pick, and 4 sacks. Halfback Cairo Martinez, 24 carries, 79 yards, 4 receptions and for 6 yards. Wide receiver Beth Horrell, 6 receptions for 62 yards on 7 targets. On the defense, free safety Gerald Winkler had 7 tackles, 1 assist, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 pass deflections. Linebacker Lorenzo Washington, 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 1 pick. Nico Cappuccino was 2 for 2 on the field goals. For the Rattlesnakes, JQ was 24 for 34, 279 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 sack. Halfback Luther Gahn was 23 carries, 76 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and had 1 reception for 3 yards. Wide receiver Tony Hall, 4 receptions for 55 yards on 5 targets, 1 touchdown, and 1 fumble. Strong safety Alexander Ramsey had 6 tackles, 2 assists, and 1 pass deflection. Linebacker KT Harrell had 8 tackles, 1 assist, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 pick. Kicker Cliff Allen was 2 for 2 on the field goals. Now go get you some Gatorade. We'll be back in a minute. And welcome back to the Twinscrew Post. Now we're going to talk about the SFLm playoff picture as it stands after Week 7. The Rattlesnakes, Fuel, and Flight have all been eliminated, but they can still play a huge part in what happens the rest of the playoffs and where the teams rank out. You can play spoilers, but don't give up. You still got teams watching. No teams are locked into their current rank. A lot of things can happen based off the Week 8 games. And that's where we stand today on the playoff picture. Here are the Week 8 games next Wednesday and the final games of the regular SFLm season. Huddle up. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Twinscrew Post. This segment will talk about the upcoming rookie draft and the current rules for the draft. I'm not going to bring up the draft order because by the time I post this, it'll change anyway. Now, there's still some signings that may happen, so we'll have to see what those signings are when they're posted. I'll go through these pretty quick. If you need to read, just stop the video. So, for the rookie draft, round 1 starts Sunday, June 21st at 7 Eastern on 11 Sports and For the Fans Twitch channel. Round 2 is Monday, June 22nd on YouTube. That time is currently TBD. Rounds 1 and 2 will be at each player's primary positions that we played in the minor league. Rounds 3 and 4 are Tuesday, June 23rd on YouTube. That time is TBD. These rounds are for each player's primary or secondary positions that have been submitted to the league. Round 5 is on Friday, June 26th on YouTube. Then rounds 7 and 8 are Saturday, also on YouTube. Rounds 5 through 7, a player can be drafted at any position. continued draft rules. And here's some of the draft rules that were updated on June 5th. Signings will be locked in at 23:59 Sunday, June 14th. Some rules on trading picks. No trades can involve any players. And also rules if picks aren't used. There will be no draft trades in rounds 5 through 7. So, those are the rules. Good luck to all the rookies in the draft. Last call on food and beverages. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Twinscrew Post and our last segment, the Twinscrew 2-minute drill. Since this is our first episode, we'll take it easy for this one and just go over the league leaders and my picks for Week 8 in the SFLm. Here are the leaders after Week 7. Cam Curtis has 1,652 passing yards with a QBR at 83.8. Halfback Fox Highwind has 727 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. John Valentine has 524 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Linebacker Gary Marks has 74 tackles and 15 assists. Kicker Amy Shalizi is 15 for 16 on field goals. And wide receiver Abraham Isaac has 861 total return yards so far. Here's my week 8 picks. I got Albuquerque over Lincoln, Madison over Indianapolis, Ottawa over Birmingham, and Boise over San Jose. That's it for this week and the first episode of the Twinscrew Post. I hope you enjoyed it. It was somewhat informative and that you'll be back for future shows. Until then, good luck to all the teams in Week 8, and we'll see you on the sidelines.